What's wrong with dressing the part a little? Yes. So yes, I teach European history, and I should say that in the field of European history, one of the major approaches that historians use is referred to as the great man history. And I'm tired of it.
Yay!
I think it's time for a little great women history. So this course, the 6 great women that we have in this lineup, there's Cleopatra, there's Empress Theodora of the Byzantine Empire, there is Eleanor of Aquitaine, Joan of Arc. Everybody seems to need an of, right? But not Elizabeth. Elizabeth I, and then Catherine the Great. And these figures, these women, not only were they powerful women and effective in their rules, but they also are fascinating women. And if you have a copy of the flyer or sitting near somebody with a flyer, if you could get it in your hand for a moment, because on the back, right in the middle, is a list of films. And someone asked me before we kind of got going, now is this a film class? No, Michael Fox is doing the film class. This is history. However, this is something of a gauge, this list on these individuals, that not only were they important, but they were fascinating. And so for each of them, there has been a recent film. One exception with Empress Theodora, there's a book that has just come out that's on her that will be no doubt a bestseller when you consider the subtitle. Theodora, actress, empress, whore. That's a bit of a range. Someone was speaking of range earlier. That's a bit of a range. As we look at these rulers, in a sense, what we'll be doing is case studies of women in power, how they exercise power. And you might notice that if you look at the list of the women, or think of the list that I just read off, that 5 out of those 6 women were rulers. And I've got a little bit of a comment to make on this, which is we think of, well, there was monarchy, and then there's democracy. You know, monarchy, and then we improved to democracy. Well, if you actually like sort of feminine leadership, actually monarchy is superior in the sense that you have women are much more likely historically, until very recent times, if they're going to be heads of state, to do so in a monarchy. Does that make sense? So, okay, something I want to say is the approach here is comparative. In other words, there'll be a certain amount of comparison between the different women rulers and leaders. But even more so, it's going to involve comparison between these women leaders and their male predecessors and their male successors. And so in a way, we'll be able to kind of look at, well, what would it be like if women ran the world? So the course begins in 2 weeks. At this time, at the 10 o'clock time slot in this place. So I hope to see you here. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Bruce.